Hello hockey fans and welcome back to another video. On the first day of free agency back on July 28, 2021, American defenseman Chris Wideman signed a one-year, one-way contract worth $750,000 with the Montreal Canadiens. At the time, the 31-year-old had recently been named the KHL's top defenseman during the prior 2021 season and had just won a bronze medal at the IIHF World Championships, but he was eager to return to North America and earn a roster spot in the best league in the world. Now, while this signing was examined closest by Habs fans for pretty obvious reasons, some of you might recognise Wideman's name but can't quite remember from where. Whether it be due to him playing 181 NHL games over parts of 4 seasons split between 3 different teams, or whether you remember him for his involvement in an Uber scandal back in 2018, Wideman's controversial actions had seemingly cost him his career in the show. That said, the blue liner appears to have redeemed himself for his past transgressions and is looking to suit up on an NHL roster for the first time in nearly 3 years. Given that he has been on quite the journey over the last few seasons, and given the adversity that he has overcome in order to return to the NHL, I figured that it would be worth taking a closer look at Wideman's career in order to highlight what caused his steep fall from grace, how he bounced back despite numerous obstacles, and how he has regained his place in the best league in the world. So in today's video, let's explore the redemption of Chris Wideman. In order to tell this roller coaster ride of a tale, allow me to take you back to June 27, 2009, when 19-year-old defenseman Chris Wideman was selected 100th overall in the 2009 NHL draft by the Ottawa Senators. Following his selection, the American blue liner would return to the Miami Redhawks of the Central Collegiate Hockey Association, his pre-draft team, and spend the next 3 seasons completing his studies at the school. After scoring 95 points in 163 games over 4 seasons with Miami, and after helping the Red Hawks to a pair of Frozen Four appearances, a trip to the national championship game, and their first CCHA tournament title in school history, Wideman would graduate from college and earn his first pro deal, as he signed a 2-year entry-level contract with the Senators on March 28, 2012. Once his tenure with the Red Hawks had come to an end, the 22-year-old would finally turn pro and join the Senators' organisation for the 12-13 season. Though he would spend both years of his entry-level deal down in the minors, and even make a 5-game trip to the ECHL during this span, Wideman would play almost the entirety of his contract in the AHL with Ottawa's minor league affiliate, the Binghamton Senators. Despite struggling to make an impact during his first pro season, since he scored just 2 goals and 18 points in 60 AHL games, Wideman's sophomore year in Belleville would see him take quite the leap forward, as he finished the following 13-14 season with 9 goals and 51 points in 73 regular season games. Not only would these numbers help him finish 4th in scoring on Belleville's roster, they would also earn him a new contract, as Wideman signed a 1-year extension worth $700,000 with the Senators on July 26, 2015. Having put pen to paper on a new deal with Ottawa, the 14-15 season would see Wideman take his game to an even greater level and cement his reputation as one of the best players in the AHL. Thanks to potting a whopping 19 goals and 61 points in 75 games, the former 4th-round draft pick would not only set his career high in goals and points that still continue to this very day, he would earn himself several accolades too, as he was named to the 2015 AHL All-Star Game, secured a place on the league's first All-Star team, and received the Eddie Shaw Award given to the league's best defenseman. If all of that wasn't impressive enough though, Wideman would also earn a new extension with Ottawa, as he signed another 1-year contract with the Senators, this time worth $600,000 on June 29, 2015. Though he would earn $100,000 less than he had the year prior, despite producing a career season for himself, having potted 112 points in his last 148 AHL games, and having finished the year as one of the best players outside of the NHL, Wideman may have had to take a pay cut, but he had proven himself to be a legitimate prospect in Ottawa's pipeline. Thanks to his performance over the coming season, Wideman would soon find himself in the best league in the world. The 15-16 season would see Wideman attend Ottawa's training camp and look to prove to the Senators that he deserved a shot in the NHL. After impressing the team's coaching staff during preseason, and thanks to his recent breakout year in the minors, the American defenseman would get his wish, as he earned a spot on the Senators' opening night roster and would suit up in his NHL debut. So after being selected in the 4th round of the draft 6 years ago, and having recently dominated the AHL, Wideman had proven all of his doubters wrong, had defied the odds, and had earned his first trip to the National Hockey League. Having finally made it to the show, Wideman would go on to spend the entirety of that year, as well as the following 2 seasons, exclusively on Ottawa's roster. With 13 points in 64 games during his rookie year in the league, 17 points in 76 games during his sophomore season in 16-17, and with him playing just 16 games and scoring just 8 points during the 17-18 season due to undergoing surgery on his hamstring, Wideman hadn't lit the league on fire, but he had produced respectable scoring numbers as a reliable two-way defenseman. In the midst of him becoming a mainstay on the Senators roster, the blue liner had also earned a pretty sizable raise during this span, as his 1-year deal was soon followed by a 2-year, $1.6 million contract worth an average annual value of $800,000 a season on February 24, 2016. Having signed a 1-year, $1 million extension with Ottawa for the upcoming 18-19 season, having finally recovered from his season-ending surgery, and with him eager to return to the Senators lineup for the first time in 10 months, it seemed as if things couldn't go wrong for Wideman. However, everything was about to come crashing down. Less than a month into the 18-19 season, on October 30th, 2018, the Ottawa Senators visited the Arizona Coyotes for their 11th game of the year. The night before, Wideman and 6 other Senators players, including Thomas Chabot, Dylan DeMello, Alex Formenton, Chris Tierney, and Senators star Matt Duchene, all went to a steakhouse and enjoyed a nice dinner together before their game the next day. Once the meal was over, Wideman ordered an Uber to drive the group a couple of miles away to the Renaissance Hotel, which was where the Senators were staying that night, since it was conveniently located across the street from the Gila River Arena. When their driver turned up, Wideman and the 6 other Senators jumped into the vehicle for their journey home, but before their ride had even left the restaurant, the players began to chat. Instead of discussing the weather or recent current events, the 7 players began to vent their frustrations surrounding the Senators' organisation and make disparaging remarks about their own coaching staff. Criticising their penalty kill and the work of defensive coach Marty Raymond, Wideman can be heard saying, quote, "Do you notice that when Raymond runs the video, if you actually do pay attention, he doesn't ever teach you anything, he just commentates what's happening?" To which Duchene responds, "We don't change anything ever, so why do we even have a meeting? I haven't paid attention in 3 weeks." After several minutes had passed and with the conversation still in full swing, the players finally reached their hotel, jumped out of the Uber and returned to their rooms to rest before game day. What neither Wideman, Duchene, or any other passenger had realised though, was that their entire 5-minute conversation had been recorded on the Uber driver's dashcam. Frustrated with the undesirable tip that he had received from his professional athlete customers, and feeling that the players had come across as cheap, entitled kids, the driver decided to take revenge. Soon after the ride was over, the Uber driver uploaded the entire 5-minute recording to YouTube and sent the link via Twitter to the Ottawa Citizen. In the days after their Uber ride, everything appeared to be business as usual for Wideman and the 6 Senators, as Ottawa continued their schedule for the 18-19 NHL season. With a 5-1 loss to the Coyotes, a 4-2 win against Buffalo, and a 9-2 loss to the Sabres just 2 days later, the Senators' play on the ice wasn't doing much to distract people from their recent controversies and various dysfunctions off it. However, things were about to go from bad to worse. Less than a week after the Uber incident on November 4th, 2018, the Ottawa Citizen finally released the dashcam footage to the public, and the events recorded that night would quickly shift from yet another scandal within the Senators' organisation to headline news across the NHL. Before their game against the Tampa Bay Lightning later that day, Wideman was playing soccer with his teammates when he was told to go and see Senators GM Pierre Dorion immediately. After entering Dorian's office, Wideman and the 6 other Senators players stood shoulder to shoulder as their general manager showed them the grainy footage of their conversation the week prior. Unfortunately for Wideman, he had done most of the talking and would receive the biggest punishment. After scolding the other 6 players for their actions in the video, Dorian turned his attention to Wideman and made it clear that he would be the scapegoat, as Dorian said that someone's head was going to roll and that it would be his. Just 18 days after the Uber video came to light, Wideman's lengthy tenure with the Senators organisation would soon come to an end, as he was traded to the Edmonton Oilers on November 22, 2018, in exchange for a 2020 conditional 6th round pick. After spending a month with the Oilers, and after scoring 2 points in 5 games with the team, the American blue liner would be on the move once again, as he was traded to the Florida Panthers on December 30th, 2018, along with a 2019 3rd round pick, in exchange for defenseman Alex Petrovic. Following his Panthers debut on January 5th, 2019, the former 4th round draft pick was placed on waivers the following day and was sent down to Florida's AHL affiliate, the Springfield Thunderbirds. After scoring 13 points in 16 AHL games, Wideman would be traded for a 3rd time before the season was over, as he was dealt to the Pittsburgh Penguins at the 2019 trade deadline in exchange for forward Jean-Sebastien Daya. From there, Wideman would spend the rest of the season with Pittsburgh's minor league affiliate, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and score 2 points in 3 AHL games to conclude the year. So having been traded 3 times in just 4 months, and having suited up for 5 different teams during the 18-19 season alone, Wideman's starring role in the Uber video had tanked his value, both as an on-ice player and as a tradable asset, and had severely impacted the likelihood of him playing in the NHL for the foreseeable future. Though he was clearly trending in the wrong direction, the 29-year-old was given one more opportunity to earn his place in the show, as he signed a 1-year, 2-way contract worth $700,000 with the Anaheim Ducks on July 15, 2019. So after the most turbulent and most controversial season of his entire pro career, Wideman had the chance to put the past behind him, show that he had learned from his mistakes, and regain a full-time roster spot in the best league in the world. Would he achieve his goal? Well, the 2019-20 season would see Wideman make the move to Anaheim and look to earn a place on the Ducks' opening night roster. Though he would attend their training camp and register a single assist during his first preseason game with the team, the former 4th round pick wouldn't get his wish, as he was cut from camp and quickly reassigned to Anaheim's AHL affiliate, the San Diego Gulls. Having been demoted to the minors once again, and with him joining his 3rd AHL team in less than a calendar year, Wideman would end up spending the entire year in San Diego as he played the entirety of his new contract down in the minors. Despite never being called up to the Ducks roster at any point during the season, Wideman would go on to register quite the productive year with the Gulls. Though he wouldn't come anywhere close to his career-high numbers of years past, his 9 goals and 31 points in 53 games would help him finish 2nd in scoring on San Diego's roster and earn him his 2nd trip to the AHL All-Star Game before the season was shut down prematurely due to the pandemic. Once his lone year in San Diego had reached its unexpected conclusion, and once his contract with Anaheim had expired, Wideman knew that he needed to make a change. Having become an unrestricted free agent for the 2nd straight year, and with his chances of returning to the NHL all but over, the 30-year-old decided to take his career in a completely different direction. Instead of grinding it out in the minors on the hope of one day maybe earning a call-up to the bigs, on June 1st, 2020, it was announced that Wideman had signed a 1-year contract with Torpedo Nizhny Novgorod of the KHL. So after watching his NHL career practically vanish before his very eyes, and having spent the last season and a half in the AHL, Wideman would be taking his talents overseas for the first time in his career and making the move to Russia. Given that his NHL career was all but over thanks to his recent play and his involvement in the Uber scandal, Wideman's move to Russia actually made a lot of sense at the time. After all, he would get the chance to experience life in a new city on the other side of the world, he would compete against the best players in Europe's top league on a nightly basis, and he would likely earn more money than he was making in the minors in order to do so. Not only that, if he was able to produce a strong year for himself, Wideman might be able to turn some heads back home, prove that he could still compete at the highest levels of the sport, and perhaps even earn another shot on an NHL roster. Would this actually end up happening though? Yes. Yes, it would. The recent 2021 season would see Wideman suit up for Torpedo for the very first time and embark on his debut year in the KHL. Though he would take to the ice in Russia for the first time in his career and would have little time to adjust to the differing style of play overseas, the 30-year-old blue liner would make quite the first impression with his new team. Spending the entire season on Torpedo's top defensive pair, Wideman would finish the year with an impressive 9 goals and 41 points in 59 regular season games. Not only would he finish third in scoring on Torpedo's roster, these numbers would earn Wideman the KHL's Defenseman of the Year award, as he ended up scoring more points than any other blue liner that season. If all of that wasn't impressive enough though, this performance would also help Wideman make his second appearance on the international stage too, as he was named to Team USA's roster for the 2021 IIHF World Championships. Despite going scoreless in 9 games at the competition though, Wideman would help the Americans earn a bronze medal at the event. Not a bad season, eh folks? Having finished his first year overseas with a top defenseman award in one hand and a World Championship bronze in the other, Wideman had added several more trophies to his cabinet and had even caught the attention of a few teams back home. Once his contract with Torpedo had expired, and once the 2021 NHL free agency got underway, the former 4th round pick would finally achieve his long-awaited goal, as he signed a 1-year, one-way contract worth $750,000 with the Montreal Canadiens on July 28, 2021. So after bouncing between 5 different teams in a single season just a few years ago, and after watching his NHL career disappear before his very eyes, thanks to him moving overseas, betting on himself and surpassing all expectations, Chris Wideman had just secured his first one-way contract with an NHL organisation in the last 3 years, and had found his way back into the best league in the world. Now, as things stand at the time of this recording, Chris Wideman is set to make his triumphant return to the NHL and debut with the Habs later tonight, as the Canadiens open their season on the road against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks to his performance during training camp and his play during preseason, the 31-year-old seems to be a lock-in as Montreal's third pair right defenseman, where he shall suit up alongside his new partner and fellow KHL alumni Alexander Romanov. Whether he plays well enough to remain in the Habs' top 6 for the entire year, and whether he produces respectable numbers over the course of the season remains to be seen, but given the long road he has taken in order to get back to the NHL, and given the many setbacks he has faced along the way, I don't think Wideman will be taking any moment of this opportunity for granted now, do you? After all, he knows more than most how easy it is to lose it all. And that was a look at the redemption of Chris Wideman. What do you guys think about Wideman's journey back to the NHL? Do you think he deserved to lose his place in the league in the first place, or do you think he has come out better in the long run for it? Let me know in the comments below, I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching guys, I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye! A big thank you to Drew Fawcett, Houston NG, and Worthless Pieces for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further, and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.